Uh, what do we call it for? So I have two theories that I'm testing. I do not know if I would just share an idea of what I trade mechanically actually each day.
Please.
I just use settlement for direction, but not all the time because I also trade forex pairs and on the 1 hour. And with those ones, I do not use settlement, so I just use the what's it called? Structure. So maybe not. But essentially, because when I watched I traded KFC or field expansion exclusively, I used a lot of Catherine's indicator if I come back. And this was the 1 hour and I had setups that I was this one I was trading in 1 minute. I had setup that was based on it. I have lots of stuff on it. But I didn't like the fact that if I drop to the 1 minute, then it becomes clear. Just in Catherine stuff. I didn't like the fact that I had to rely on the indicator. When I was on the 1 minute, it was not a problem. But when I was using it on the 1 hour, for the hour, part of the problems I had was that, for instance, there was a bug in the calculation. Sometimes levels change, etc. So it was very helpful, but
Mhm.
I wasn't in a way. It was like maybe not what I. It was not enough. And also, my friend kept asking me because the guy I trade with a lot is also a friend. He uses a lot of he's a typical support resistance. He trades W's, so W
Okay.
bottoms and stuffs like that. Very
Mhm.
profitable, very good. So, and he's always like you have to trade in such a way that when the big money comes, because that's the hope, then you'll be able to do the same thing. It was like, would you be able to bet whatever on it? So that's why I moved to the higher time frame. But then I was watching the match 18 call again, and Kish shared that if we had a field expansion, we could use a previous field expansion as our key level and all the key levels surrounding it if one cares about it. But then again, I just thought about it. If I'm on the 4 minutes and this is a field expansion, if I go to the 1 minute, it's just a range that was just highly inefficient and it's just going down. So it's like that makes sense. And it was like, once that happens, then you want another field expansion can happen. It was like, and inside this other field expansion, you could have your key levels. But since this is my key level, I want, so we have is KFC, we have a key level that I'm using the low high. He said we could use the highest candle open and stuff like that. But I was just like, low and high is very easy. Something I can remember easily and I would not overthink low and high. So if this is a fourth sphere expansion, this is the low of the expansion. So in this instance, I'm assuming it's a bearish one. So I want a KFC. I'm like, then this is the K, then the second part is an expansion through it, and then the CSD and buy. So if a CSC is always an OB, I'm assuming that this second expansion, this candle here, closed below this. So it's like the CSD. And once we close above it, or CS or weak above it, then I want to buy and target
Mhm.
this high or whatever swing failures or whatever inside. That is one.
Okay.
And that is one way I look at it. And then the second one is because it was like, so if you have a failed expansion and we have, so let's have this is another candle. So our expansion failed. This is the eye of the last candle in the expansion. We are assuming this is it. And it was like, so the open. So it was like if this candle doesn't close below above it, and then the second candle also closes inside it, then we assume this is a green candle like a buy, then this
Mhm.
is the key level.
Mhm.
If this does this in one swoop whereby we close above the open, then our key level becomes the open of the last candle in the expansion. So I combine that and that's just it. I don't know. Okay, I called it rebirth I um because I trade it more exclusively on the um on the M1. Sorry, on the H1. So it's like the first one is
Okay.
first field. So if you have 2K, I said 2K, but it's supposed to be two field expansions. So the first candle will create the expansion, and then I want the second expansion to be so. And the rule is just so, for instance, in this place, if we just look at this example on the 4 minutes, just In this instance, we have an expansion, expansion. The expansion ended here on this candle. So this is the expansion. There. So in this instance, first candle after the expansion. All right. Second candle. Yes, the second candle closed through this and CSC it. However, this is then our this is then my key level because I do not know how to trade rejection blocks and stuff, so I do not use it. So if in
Hmm.
the future we print, so in this instance, this is one. So because the first two candles, yes, the second candle CS'd this, I prefer it when it doesn't CST it within the first two candles. But since this first candle did not, because I always want an OB, so the C part of the KFC is is the CST. So in this instance, at this high, with this being the key level, so that's the first candle is the high of the range, and with this other guy being the key level, then at this high here, I want another expansion through it. We had this expansion, so this is another expansion through it, and this one ended here. Then I'm looking at this second expansion, I'm thinking, okay, this is the candle that closed through my range high here, so I can delete this. Wait a minute. So this is my hobby. So in this instance, it's like once we CS'd this, then I want to sell because this is the open. Sometimes if it's very big, because this is also an expansion itself. In this expansion, this this low here is also a key level. Sometimes
Hmm.
if I feel price may go up, I can look at the original expansion. This is the key level, and I can say, okay, I want to sell. But my first instance is to sell the low of the OB. It was not the best, but this is 2 a.m. in London. This is depending also what is coming. I do not before I used to hedge, but I don't. So that's the first part. Maybe this is a loss, maybe it's not, but let's even assume it's a loss. Either which way, that's the way I trade. And for the other part, trying to look for an example that looks like it. And it's not like I'm teaching you what I trade, like so that you
No, that's great.
that.
That's great.
It's
Thank you.
just to also because it will be very, very important for you're welcome. For the other part, okay, let's find an example. Mm, Not the best. Okay, I'm sorry, just looking for something bam, bam. And also if we have this like instant close, so let's say we have for instance, yeah, whereby we have an expansion and this. I do not take this ones whereby we have a first close because of course this is the key level and this works out well best. It's just a way I intentionally do not because it's not profitable or it's not good, but I don't want to take everything. I want something that is not that is a little bit extreme. This
Okay.
OB second candle is one that I found as the well, I have to still look at my data very well, but I felt like it's the more profitable. Let's okay, that is not looking good. This is very annoying. Okay, let's find an example that works. Doesn't. Okay, I think there is a trade going on EU that might show it better, if I'm not wrong. Or is it AU? Yeah, sorry. Ah, sorry, okay.
No,
But
take your
that's
time.
that.
Take your time.
Mm, should I know that on the okay, not that one. Looking for expansions, not you. Ah, okay. There. This will have been a loss, but it doesn't matter. So if we have an expansion, this is the expansion. This is the first candle. Okay, we failed to close our first, like our mile marker, if I can call it that. And then the second candle, this is all from the match, is the whole B. Then all of a sudden, this is our key level. But more than that is according to my rules, because the way I traded, KFC initially before I rewatched this match is example is that the first candle, the last candle in the expansion, I usually use for direction. I usually believe that one, we need to close it open in this instance, and also CST it. So I wanted close for direction and CST. I got it from the when Kish was talking about the barricade. So I was using this for
Mhm.
okay, price wants to go. Then, so in these examples with the OB, first step, okay, I have my OB now, all right, which is always so the OB has to either be the second candle, or if it's not the second candle, then we want an expansion through it. Maybe that sounded better to explain. And so in this
Mhm.
instance, I have this second candle has to be the OB. If not, you want a second expansion. Once this happens, we see as to this, okay, this is nice, but first rule is I want this, so I want take this, make a CSC of this last candle. I usually call it two bar, and then return back to the OB and it should die.
Mhm.
But in this
Okay.
instance, it will have been a loss, and that is okay. So that's it. What did then I did discover? I was just studying again, and then I realized something. I was just because, and it sounds is very familiar, similar to what you were saying, rather, which is about the um. I know you know about the dark pools, right? Just confirm.
Not how maybe I know a little bit about them.
Okay, but just the definition, I'll straight because it's very similar to what you were showing me about if we have, for example, for example, if we have, so for me, the dark pool is always like if we have, for example, a range exercise zone, then the first between the high and the next candle high, that the first candle low above the high of the range is the dark
Mhm.
pool. So
Okay.
that,
Yeah, very similar. Okay.
yeah, so this is the dark pool. So until yeah, when it forms, of course, Kish has an indicator for it. Maybe it's not here. Is it on rebuff or am I on the wrong stuff? Okay, I was on the wrong the spectra hedge, and in this instance it doesn't draw it here, but for instance, expansions, I do not know what was coded into Kish's on this is an expansion,
Mhm.
then this is the first candle high above it, and then this is a dark pool. So this is under like I think that sometimes the bags and dark pools they are like rejection block and hobbies, in my own opinion. So it's
Mhm.
like and this doesn't show everything because this is also technically designed as dark pool. So it's like this should remain open, this should remain open if price is bullish, just like bags. And for some reasons, because I do not use it, but there was a guy that was passing that was testing his or what they say, bouncing his ideas off me of what I trade the darks. And I just saw dark plan. For some reasons, I was just checking out. And then I told myself, what if I had an added an extra filter, which was if I wanted to take, and I will turn this off and maybe turn this off and turn this on because I can be very lazy. So I use my own indicator for expansions quickly. So because it
That's
has
a great indicator.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
since it has
Thank you.
wow. So what was I looking at? So in this instance, of course, it's still a work in progress. This is the first thing I wanted to share. I just shared up. The first part was just how I trade. So let's look at this bearish example, of course, for the we have this guy, this bullish expansion. I said if I want the first two candles, of course, I wouldn't use this again because this first candle closed this, closed
Mhm.
the so I would not consider this. But let's assume I was considering it. No, actually, I cannot assume. That would be a wrong example. In this instance, this will have been a loss, for instance, for
Okay.
this bearish one, because actually, no, yeah, maybe later. So this is one. The second candle was the OB. We see as once this happens, I'm looking for a close above this.
Okay.
Did not have it when we had it. If I was still looking at this, of course, because Other stuff has happened inside here. But I might still be looking at this. Why? If we look at this expansion here, the second candle is the whole B. So when we confirm this here, I was still waiting for price to come back to this open. Price comes back to this open, we would buy. And this here. So after, so if we track this, we went up here and we were waiting for price to come back into the OB there.
Mhm.
So after I eat it, so actually lies. After it closed above because it has to close, that's why. So it will come back here.
Mhm.
So close
Okay.
above this and a CST. So it has CST here technically, but I still want a close above. So it saves me from losses like this. So closes above,
Mhm.
the open, returns back here. And this instance, I would buy this, I would buy this. I could be selling because I do not know. I'm not looking, I'm just looking at these two examples. I could be selling. But this is also another instance I was saying, even if this was not there, because this is a big stop, yeah, hopefully not. Okay, maybe not too much, but I'll be like, I could take a massive trade because when the traders coming in here, I have other stuff below here. So if I borrow this, for this expansion below, we close above it in one swoop. So this is its own key level. So I can add a position here and add a
Mhm.
second position here. So I can
Mhm.
maximize this range because most likely my TP would be either this high or this failed expansion or this failure swing. So what was the thing I then added? I was not like, in this instance, when do I know to trust a setup? Because I was looking at my data and I saw that, of course, it's still lost, but I saw that all my winners or most of my winners that had this dark pool in it, they were all in the winners. And I hardly saw a loss, maybe like one or two in the ones I've checked and I've looked at. So if this is the range, this is, so let's say we're trading here. This is our, this is the failed expansion. This is the low of the failed expansion. That means like you would join me, I'm looking for the first candle low below this. Yeah. Sorry, the first candle high below this. Yeah. So this is my dark pool. And if this is my dark pool, I would prefer if the dark pool formed before we confirm the trade. In this instance, yes, because as at this time, I'm still waiting for a close above this. Once price is coming back down there, because my idea is that the dark pool formed here. If price is going lower, we should we should this should be open. The fact that
Yeah.
price closes above it here it gives me good reasons to buy.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Oh, dark pool is inside the bag. There are extra confluences. I wanted to buy here. There's another one down here. Of course, this example, and let's see this. There, first low. Once we
Mhm.
close below this, we should not go down if we are bullish. We close above this here, gives me good confluence to come and buy this OB back. Price could go down there, all right, but that's for perfection. Excellences there, and put my stop low. Actually, this is too low, but either which way, I'm not afraid of taking 40 point. It's like, but it gives me an understanding of where price might be. And all of a sudden, I'm targeting maybe because maybe there, I don't know. So that
Yeah,
was,
that very nice. Yeah. The projection could help you out too there.
yeah, there you go. So that's why I started it's just so yeah, it's like I started observing. I look through I will not do that. Yes, I do not bore you with that because I think it's this. And I was checking it out, just even in the and of course I still do not know how to filter it, but let's just this was a win. I was supposed to take a shot. And if this is the range I was considering here in yellow, we went through it with this expansion. We see from here to here, we have
Mhm.
a,
Mhm.
so if I annotate from here to here, we have like a dark pool there.
Mhm.
So this is, so when, of course, for me to, I just need the first CST. Once the CST happens on this candle, I'm going to buy the CST. In this, when it is two expansions, So when the second candle after the expansion fails is not the OB, I just want the CST of the OB because it's like I'm already at our key level. And once this happens, sell here.
Mm,
Now I know that my stop was up because I really hate putting stops inside FEG, so I didn't put it on this high. I moved it. This was me using Katrina's indicator because it's an old stuff. But now that I'm using this dark pool stuff, it allows me to know that we are closing above it. The next time, of course, in this instance, I can safely put my stop maybe here or there or whatever. Because the next time we'll be bullish, it's like do not close this low here.
mm,
If we if this has to
mm.
stay open. So apart from bags, dark pool, this has to stay open. And in this instance, we close through it.
Closes.
Even though we didn't get it, I didn't get an entry based on my own rules, price dumps. So I said that, okay, in my winners, I have them. Of course, I have, like I said, I take lots of losses, but so it's very interesting. And I use very big stop, especially on the hourly. But for instance, in this place, I hate stops in FEG. So I'm very safe to that. This was the second, the low of
Mhm.
this bag because I feel price can go there. And it's 1 hour, I do not have enough time to check. But let's track this. This is the low. This is the first high, this one, above and below this low. So dark pool. Yes, I got in early because according to this was the first candle below it. But it makes me feel like, okay, in this kind of scenario whereby there's no dark pool, all right, make your stop bigger. But if this was happening after here, it's like buy it and put your stop low. Just try and
Mm,
we must not extend beyond this next. So that was the first thing. It's like for someone like maybe what's his name? Andre, you might appreciate this one because they know I trade this. This is another one. We have the first this guy.
mm, mhm,
So this is one KFC, one, two. The second candle was its OB because this red candle is OB. All right, so I need a close above this, sorry, a close below this, a wick below this, and a trade back into this line, and then I would sell down.
mm,
And but with
mhm.
this known, I know like maybe I can put my stop somewhere there. I'm sure the data would be, well, I hope I took the trade because then that would be, well, even if I didn't take it or maybe it lost, it should be a sell. So let's see, is there? And yes, is it? Yes, yes, it is. So
Mm,
this is it. And we come back to it. Yeah. And this is the lower entry. I was like, all right, I get it there. And like I said, because this expansion itself, I said that's a key level. Oh, I was like, I will have entered it because I like to tell myself the truth of where I would most likely enter. So this expansion itself, add up to this or that high, but I was like, I would not get it. And also there's like a bag here.
mm,
So I could, but either which I recorded this entry, this 1.3 out of this
mm.
lower
Very
entry
nice.
in my in my data, which is 1.3. So
Very
that's when
nice.
we took the worst exit. But that's the first one. And then for the scalping, so now when I was then observing you, talking about sharing something similar with the dark pool, I was like,
Mm.
all right. That is very funny. So and then
I
for
guess
the
it is very similar.
yeah, for
Yeah.
the I'll close this because we don't really need. Oh, this is so rough. I've not journaled. Sorry. Let's just ignore this mess and this
I
other.
think I think my only difference is the um I'm going green candle to green candle
Okay, yeah.
or red to red.
All right. For me, it's any color. Mm,
Gotcha. Okay.
mm, okay. And then for the scalp, really, it came from the videos so far this last week or this current week when Kish started this series. And because I was asking him, I think yesterday I was confused. And then the day whereby I think maybe it was on Tuesday or Wednesday when we took the, we can just find it. I don't know, when we took this, so it was on Wednesday, when he wanted this long.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't really need this.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah, where he was it Wednesday? I think was it, or was it Monday? Monday. It was on Monday.
Okay.
This Monday trade where I think on the futures you guys had the fact that this had closed above or something. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
didn't, and he insisted, and everybody was really confused. And this was the first continuation setup because yeah, ICT and TCM stuff, we don't do lots of continuations. And I think he bought inside here and was explaining that he wanted this first candle. So it was like the first price had been going up relatively to the day. So there was no sign of reversal yet. And this was the first down candle at the high. So this is like a key or a decision level. If and it was like once this happens and we closed above it or made a CST, he said a CST here, but he felt this was going to be aggressive. Once you close it below it, he bought into this and
Mm-hmm.
was targeting the previous day's 2 p.m. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I just had like a moment, like, okay, when I was just watching the video again or studying. And so the idea is we Kish is saying that let me just write it at the high. If we have, well, this is my understanding. If we have a down candle, a CST of it means or can mean higher prices. Yeah, forgive the spelling.
That doesn't
So,
matter. We get the point.
yeah. So let's go back to the few days I looked at, and that's why I've not deleted this. Okay, yeah,
Uh,
there's black lines. So this is the range from 5 o'clock. Sorry, I'm like Android, so I use UTC -5, but this is the open of the day. So 5 o'clock till 7:20. We come here at open outcry. All right. So this is, I'm just using this range without settlement because settlement is for direction. This is the trading range of the day. So far, so good. So when I come here, I'm tying this, and it was like because when I was asking him, because I was asking him, I think on Thursday, I think I also shared in the group, I was like, we might go up. We needed to put in an whole B because Kish then mentioned this is the second, but I was like, when it come, this candle was taking liquidity. It's like it was like when you see this very, maybe that's how I
mhm.
understood it. It was like this is just taking, it's a stop run. It's not an OB, especially even though in this instance, even a red candle. So I was like, look for the stop one candle. This is the stop one. And Kish was then saying on that day, like, this was the candle before it. So
I remember
this,
him saying that. Yeah.
this is the whole B. So
Mm-hmm.
if this is the whole B, all right, this is the candle that sells it. But if I want to buy, that means since this guy was the, or maybe even this one, doesn't matter. Then I'm going to delete. We don't need this stop one candle. We need the next red candle that closed above or that closed within the candle we are referencing, even if either these two candles. So if you want to go high, this this is the highest red candle or bearish candle
Mm-hmm.
at the high. If we see yesterday's, we should go down, come down to the lows of the range. Where was our stop on? Our stop on was, okay, we have 10 minutes. Oh my God, I talk so much. Our stop on was this candle because this is the low of this is the candle that
Mm-hmm.
ran all the
Mm-hmm.
stops well before, prior to going up. It's a green candle. So since we want to sell, we want a buy candle. So we will leave this alone. If we see this candle at any point in this day, you can easily
Mm-hmm.
get, I don't know, as I said, scalping 20 points.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Close below
beautiful.
the range, comes back into it. Well, more than 20. So
That's
next day,
that's beautiful. Yeah.
so I
There we go.
highlighted it. This candle here is the stop one. That means this next candle, which is the green candle, this is like the hobby. This is the I
Mhm.
said OB in quote. I'm quoting it like the OB candle. I don't have any other name because we need a CST of it.
The potential,
Yeah,
right?
potential. Yes, yes. If we CST it, which we did on this week, because CST for me is either it's just a week or a close above, it doesn't matter. So we wicked it here. Price stops here. I sell here, 42 points.
Very nice. Yeah.
And at the high, same thing here. Um, this is the stop on, so we don't need that. We needed the green candle. This is the last green candle. So a red candle, this is the last one. Oh, these two guys here. We wick it, CST. This is a down candle, so that means price after here, price went to this high before dying.
Mhm.
27 point. It's like I said, it's very crude, it's very crazy, it shouldn't work, but it does work really. And if
Yeah,
you even closes above, we had the close here and price still went up.
it came right back to it
There you
and
go.
used it as, yeah,
Yeah,
used it as the level for that nice big expansion up. Yeah.
exactly. If this was a close above, price taps into it, 24 points.
Mhm.
Next day, same idea. Stop one was a red candle. So bearish candle. So siesta this down here, the stop one was a green one. He wicked it, gave maybe this would have been a loss. I think it was a loss. This was the stop one. We closed through it there. It will have been very annoying because this pump. Oh my God, that's been crazy. This will have been I will have been very pained here because price dies here and I'll be like, okay, but it runs against me,
Mhm.
comes back, sell. But let's say it doesn't happen. That's a loss. No, it's not a 1,000%
Mhm.
winning stuff. Stop.
Right.
This was the so before the stop on, this was the low in the market, or this was the also the stop on here. So typically I would have preferred like after this, like the candle should build here. But if we're using this, because this was before this candle here. So we CST it here from the end of this week down here is 32 points. And if we miss this was the week I want, this is the candle that closed above everything that is here, the red candle. CST this runs up.
Uh,
Um,
Are you immediately after the CSD, the next candle?
if it gives an entry, the reason why in these examples we just buy is because the CSD is below, is still inside where we want to buy. So
Mhm.
CSD this candle and we closed inside the candle. I just market buy the next one. If
Okay.
let's hopefully would see another example. This one, this was the candle. So this guy was on that wicked it. So this was the, let's say, this either these two, doesn't matter. We still opened inside them. So it's like I would sell there. But let's look for another example. I really want an example that wicks. Okay, yeah. So we're deleting this because that's like the last stop on, and this is the
Mm,
next candle after or within the vicinity.
mm,
Closed above it, but it stopped there. I don't want
mm,
to buy here because it's a scalp. I do not know how far it will run or not. So once you come back to it, either if you like to buy the open, if I delete this, comes back, wicks it. This will be very annoying, but
mm,
it's enough. So
mm,
those other ones is just because the candle, when the candle closed at CSA, were either below them or inside them. So there
mm.
was, okay, that's interesting. 624, 20
Oh
points.
yeah.
So, and like that. Yeah. In this instance, red candle. So do nothing. it was until this guy we entered and saw this. So I was like, even if it was an instant rejection, like you've been to drawdown, this would have been like, I might not have been able to get out here before it came down, but it's a loss. It's just scalp. Next time again it comes here, it's very interesting that it was like that. And so, because we have less, and it goes on and on, like and on. And today on my chat, that's why I had this. I was like, this was the this was the last stop on. So the candle here, something. Um, so this would be so. This was a stop on. This was the candle above this guy here, or maybe not because this was in one soup. So maybe I could have even gotten, but there then. But this was the pain because if I turn this off for a minute, we just closed above it in
Mhm.
one soup. So I wanted this. But then I started tracking it. For example, when Chish was long there, when this failed, I was like, expansion, like this is the last candle, like because I can also add it. What if it's after the expansion? Do not close. That's why I got this alert because I was tracking this. This is an
Mhm.
expansion up, this is an expansion down. Of course, in this instance, we did not have like a stop on. So maybe if all of this it was a stop on, this is just me guessing now. If all of this was a stop on, because maybe this was where their stops were at the end, and we come
Mhm.
back here after this, and now this was a stop on. This was the first, maybe a red candle above this. This is just me thinking out loud. If we have this, once we see to this, I would buy into this, maybe the open. It doesn't give 20 points, of course, or maybe it does. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm also looking at it, but the reason why I'm using fixed ranges is because of what I know before. It's a pity that this is time is almost up. Let's look at this. We can delete all of this because I then switched to no. Oh my, did I? Sorry, I need to quickly
Oh no, no
undo
problem.
that. Oh no.
We have less than 2 minutes, just so
I've
you know.
less than, yeah. So, all right. But maybe you could share. I just wanted to see, but the last I wanted to show was just I think I have the, this is, but we can, maybe I should save this, but I didn't have looking at each of this boxes. Like I have to turn this off and try to use the same idea with them. So if this was a candidate that stopped it, of course, in this instance, maybe not the best, but try to pay attention to each stuff inside here. So
Mhm.
in this last one, at the beginning of this, we run through it. It's a pity. When we came back here, down.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
yeah. But let me stop this so you can record. And if you're still interested, sure, we can just look at it, but that's just it.
Oh, I'm definitely interested.
Okay, then.
Thank you. Thank you. Very much appreciated.